Welcome to the 2013 State Conference. I too acknowledge the traditional owners and elders past and present on whose land we gather today. For someone who grew up in a Labor family, being State Secretary is a tremendous honour, so thank you for re-electing me. I've learned so much in this job over the last couple of years about myself and the party, and I plan to use this to good effect as we work to rebuild the party. The Queensland Labor Party today is in much better shape than we were just 12 months ago. I'd like to thank branch members and affiliated unions for their passion, dedication and willingness to accept change and for their sheer hard work. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge our extraordinary state parliamentary team and their leader Anastasia Palaszczuk for a fantastic effort the last 12 months. And also to Milton Dick and his team at the Brisbane City Council level. They've been doing a fantastic job taking the fight up to the arrogant Quirk administration. The world is different to that which we were in 12 months ago when we last met. And I don't just mean in Queensland, where we've seen harsh job cuts and services by one of the most arrogant governments in Queensland's history. But within the state party itself, we've seen some significant changes. But while the changes for Australia and Queensland have indeed been negative ones, I believe the Queensland Labor Party is in a far stronger position now than we were 12 months ago. Last State Conference, we set out an ambitious agenda, and with strong support by Dick Williams as President and working collaboratively with Evan as Assistant Secretary, we have delivered on every point as we work to make the party stronger in every way. We said we needed to do better to ensure that Labor people were represented in local government, giving us the added bonus of developing the candidates of the next generation. The committee we set up have done some fantastic work, and their proposals will be available in terms of the open discussion this afternoon. I encourage those people who have an interest in this to get along and put your case. If you look at the candidates we're fielding at the next state election, they are from a wide cross-section of the community, including a police officer, an electrician, and hopefully our first Indigenous MP, Billy Gordon in Cook. Last year, we said our policy processes and party platforms needed to be reformed, that we needed to engage the broader party and give more people a say. We held our first ever statewide ballot to elect Policy Council members, and as you will hear from the Chair, Michael Clifford, shortly, the policy work is well underway, and there is a far greater opportunity for branch members to make meaningful contributions into the policy we take to the next state election. We said we must use this time in opposition to strengthen our relationship with affiliated unions and to ensure that when we get back to government, we have an unbreakable bond. Today, that relationship between the party and unions is getting stronger, and given what the Tories are throwing at us, it absolutely needs to be. Our movement has an opportunity to strike back in the upcoming by-elections, and I'm sure we'll all be out there on the front line taking the fight up to them. We said we needed to improve our campaigning capability. Hundreds of branch members have been involved in our training programs, and the Queensland Labor Party now leads the nation in campaign training, promoting solid grassroots methods to truly teach people and build on what we know works best, one-on-one engagement with the community. We had more than 200,000 voter contacts during the federal campaign, a seven-fold increase on our 2010 election, and our approach is one of the reasons I believe we defied the naysayers and held on to as many seats as we did. We said our membership numbers needed to be greater, not just in one particular region, but across the whole state. Well, just in the last 6 months alone, we've welcomed 3,000 new members. That's 3,000 new members. Over the last 12 months, Queensland accounts for almost 50% of the growth in ALP membership across Australia. This is something that all branch members should be proud of. The challenge now is to get these members to renew. As Dick highlighted, everyone has to play a role in this. Our membership fees are the lowest they've been for 15 years. We want a bigger party and we want Queenslanders to be part of it. It needs to be an ambitious agenda we set ourselves internally because Labor people need us in fighting shape. Thanks to the organisers, Annika, Nikki and Ryan, the admin staff, Abby, Peter, David, Deanne and Sharon, and especially Sharon for her conference work. But we also have, as Dick highlighted, a fantastic group of volunteers that we couldn't operate without. So thanks to Phoebe, Jenny, Kerry, Dolly, Margaret, Bell, Sari, and Sal and Terry for their work over the last 12 months. A particular thanks to Hazel Hubbard, the General Returning Officer. Hazel is an absolute marvel, and the party would not survive without her, so thanks, Hazel. I'm sure delegates would all agree it's not often that I'm wrong. but having witnessed the enthusiasm, probably particularly Owen Dugan would probably appreciate that, but having witnessed the enthusiasm amongst the branch membership in the recent federal leadership ballot, I am a convert to giving more people a say in who selects our state leader. And by opening this vote up to affiliated unions, we are again expanding the number of people who participate in the party. As with all reform, there is a balance to be achieved between the important role of conference delegates, and that should not be diminished in the reform process. The supremacy of our state conference has been something that has been with us since our first Labor in Politics conventions more than a century ago. This is where we test our ideas. This is where the battle begins in terms of putting our candidates through their paces, our parliamentary team through their paces. I think the manner in which we elect our senators is a topic for such debate that conference is best to resolve. The Queensland Labor Party held its own during the federal campaign. We always knew it was going to be a tough one for us, and it delivered a rollercoaster ride post the leadership change. All up in the space of 2 months, we ran 3 campaigns: heavily defensive, heavily offensive, and finally heavily defensive. 2 weeks out from election day, we were looking at a wipeout. Putting the result into historical context, at this election under Kevin Rudd, we received the lowest primary vote the party has ever received in a federal election. Lower than 75 when we held only 1 seat, lower than 96 when we held only 2 seats. So to emerge with 6 seats, despite our lowest ever primary vote, is a testament to our MPs, our candidates and our unions for their support. The other person we shouldn't forget to thank is Campbell Newman. We put into practice the lessons we learned from the state campaign, directing the resources to the seats that needed them most, to protect as many MPs as possible. We lost only 1 sitting MP, and I'm sure you'll all agree Yvette Darth did a terrific job representing her community and is still passionate about her local area. There is another person we should acknowledge whose name didn't end up appearing on the ballot paper, and that's Des Hardman. Des can't be here today because he's at work as a radiographer at the Logan Hospital. We should never forget how Des was treated, and we should never let spivs from Sydney tell our branch members who their candidate should be. I want to thank Peter Beattie. This wasn't his plan. Peter was doing what he always does, and that's whatever's in the best interests of the party. I would like to wish Peter and Heather all the best in their retirement. After just 2 terms federally, we find ourselves back in opposition, similar to where we found ourselves in 75. The Hawke and Keating governments became long-serving, reforming Labor governments because they learnt the lessons of that loss in 75. We must ensure that we as a party do the same. The next federal Labor government must be a long-serving, stable Labor government that delivers for Labor people. To achieve this, we mustn't let go of our legacy. We should be proud of it. The Labor government left Australia in better shape than before. As well as a AAA-rated economy with low inflation and low unemployment, thanks in no small part to Wayne Swan, we introduced a price on carbon, the NDIS, and the Gonski reforms. All 3 are at risk under this current government. We must keep reminding Australians just how important those issues are. Protecting our legacy is fundamental to ensuring we fight the next federal election and elect Bill Shorten as Prime Minister. Above all, we need to remain unified. If the last years of federal Labor have taught us anything, it is that disunity is death. We must look at this period in opposition as an opportunity to work out how our progressive and working class platforms and policies can work together. because it will only ever be as a united Labor Party that we can truly take this government to account and end our time in opposition. This is our most important task. Conferences like this are an opportunity to come together and align our differing approaches. After all, we want the same thing: a strong, united Labor Party that delivers for the workers of Australia and the workers of Queensland. Queensland Labor Party's immediate challenge is to defeat Campbell Newman, and our campaigning starts now and must be constant. We have a highly motivated branch membership which is eager and ready to take on the Newman government. We knew what he'd be like, and unfortunately he hasn't let us down. Our candidates are hungry, our messages need to be clear and consistent, and our support must be 100% behind Anastasia and her team. The last 12 months prove that the Queensland Labor Party is getting stronger. Stronger on policy, stronger on unions, strong with our growing membership. Together we have the commitment and the passion to take the fight to Campbell Newman. Let's get out there and do it. Thanks. Yeah.